Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, it seems as though the pressure's really starting to mount these days. And that's really how the world of politics works. You could be on top one day and in the bin the next. And well, it seems as though the pressure to put Joe Biden in the dumpster continues to mount. Joe Biden describes an elitist faction within the Democrat Party trying to oust him from his position.
Come with me, watch. I'm getting so frustrated by the elites. Now, I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me at the convention.
And now we're seeing more and more Democrats joining the calls for Joe Biden to step down. Representative Jerry Nadler and 3 other senior House Democrats. The latest report is that Jerry Nadler and 3 other senior House Democrats have called for Joe to drop out of the 2024 race. Essentially, the pressure is on like never before. Joe Biden and especially his spokespeople, let's be real, they've had it on easy mode for the past 3.5 years. Total cruise control with the media industrial complex operating at their whim. Well, it seems as though no longer are they afforded that privilege. The mainstream media has done close to a 180, and Karine Jean Pierre is the one stuck dealing with it. The story continues. Karine Jean Pierre is not okay. She's dealing with a daily onslaught. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for journalists in the White House press corps to finally snap, to finally demand answers from this White House.
A cognitive test, just to rule out that there are any issues. Would the president, would you counsel him to do that just to sort of put an end to these questions?
Andre, I hear you.
That's a very basic, direct question.
Wait. Hold on. Wait a second.
Eight times, or at least once, in regards to the president specifically.
Hold on a second.
Not what you should be able to answer by this point.
Wait, no. So every time he has a physical, he has had to see a neurologist. So that is answering that question.
No, it's not.
No, it is. It is. You're asking me.
Kennard, come to the White House.
But I also said to you, Ed, for security reasons, we cannot share names. We cannot share names. We have to.
Others he would have met with.
We cannot.
You can share names in regards to if someone came here in regards to the president.
We cannot share names of specialists broadly. I understand that. I hear you.
It's right there for anyone to see.
Ed, I hear you. We have to give them.
The doctor.
We have to keep their privacy.
It is public information.
I hear you. Guys, hold on a second. There's no reason to go back and forth with me in this aggressive way.
Missed around here about how information's been shared with the press corps about him.
What do you missed about? What do you missed about?
Everything he just asked about.
And then every time I come back and I answer the question that you guys asked.
Correctly, you didn't have to come back and clean up.
I never answered. I just want to take a step back for a second, because I do take offense to what Ed alluded to. Come out here every day. There's a press briefing, and we do our best to give you the information that we have at the time.
It only took nearly 4 years for the White House press corps to finally do their jobs. Karine Jean Pierre's job is to answer questions. Her job is to provide transparency and accountability for the American voter, the American taxpayer, the people who put you there, and the people who are paying for your salaries. But it's been 4 years of non-answers, 4 years of, we'll have to circle back initially. Then of course we transitioned to Karine Jean Pierre, who had a little bit of a less sophisticated approach. I have nothing for you, just refuse to answer any question that you don't want to have to deal with. 4 years of this nonsense, and finally, people have an appetite for the truth. And of course, you know what that means. The White House is in complete, utter panic mode. Karine Jean Pierre is obviously not the person equipped for this kind of media onslaught. The American people have an appetite for the truth, and obviously that's an appetite Karine Jean Pierre will not be able to satiate. But in the end, we don't need Karine Jean Pierre to have a kumbaya moment. We don't need Karine Jean Pierre to come to Jesus and finally admit all the truth and admit to all of her lies. It's not necessary because the silence says it all. Again, it comes right back to that same point. The issue that Democrats are dealing with right now is not that Joe Biden is struggling, has dementia, and probably some other issues. The issue is that Joe Biden has had these problems for a long time. It's been clear, it's been obvious, and they've been lying about it. They've been misdirecting and distracting, and of course they've been trying to play God with all of their censorship efforts as of late. That's the issue, and now we're coming to this grand conclusion moment. We're seeing them fumble, stumble, trip all over themselves, unable to answer basic questions. The big story of the day that has these leftoid Democrat journalists asking questions for once is this. Supposedly, a Parkinson's disease specialist made 10 visits to the White House, dating all the way back to November of 2022. And so the obvious question arises, does Joe Biden have Parkinson's? Because if he does, I mean, it's a degenerative disease, well, the American people ought to know it, especially going into an election where they're given the choice between a potential dementia Parkinson's patient and another candidate who's in good health. They have been lying and covering it up from back in 2020 all the way till now. And now people see the lengths that they're willing to go to hide the truth from the public. I mean, for Pete's sakes, Merrick Garland is being held in contempt of Congress as he denies compliance with a lawful subpoena. Joe Biden's DOJ is willing to break the law as long as it means protecting Joe Biden's little secret. Joe Biden is obviously unfit to serve. Something is wrong with him, and no amount of slithering will change that. No amount of dodging questions and feigning moral outrage will change the obvious truth that we are observing. No amount of very unpopular Jill Biden campaigning is going to save you Democrats from being exposed here, and I'm not even kidding, that's the actual strategy. I mean, take a look at this. Joe Biden's schedule for the 8th of July, literally empty. He's got nothing to do. Meanwhile, Jill Biden's got 3 campaign events where she's defending Joe from all the preposterous attacks.
Democrats who are calling for your husband to drop out of the race. How are you feeling about the state of the race? All right, ladies. All right, let's load up.
Nikki Haley, one of the Republican candidates, is calling for mental competency tests for those politicians over the age of 75. What do you think about that?
Ridiculous.
Would your husband ever take one of those?
I mean, we would never even discuss something like that.
Oh, how preposterous to suggest that Joe Biden isn't fit for the job. It's like a real Weekend at Bernie's situation. Jill Biden has to come out publicly to tell you that Joe Biden's okay. Well, excuse me, is it too much to ask for Joe Biden to come out and tell us that he's okay? Oh, well, you don't worry about that. Joe Biden's fine. He's just sitting on the chair back there with his aviator sunglasses. Totally static and lifeless. He can't come to the stage right now and vouch for himself because he's got serious chronic jet lag. It's the new thing going around. It's called long jet lag. Ever heard of it? How absolutely idiotic. The emperor has no clothes.